Hello, my name is Rick Hughes. I'm a San Juan County Council member from Orcas Island, Washington, District 2, including Orcas and Waldron and some of the state park islands and Obstruction Island as well. I was asked to pick a really cool location to film, and I have found the coolest place in all of San Juan County. It's my office in Friday Harbor. And I would just like to say, Scott Williams, I don't know how you do it. Every single time you make these really cool videos, that must be the badge. I brought mine out and my uniform, which isn't as cool as yours. But we're lucky to have you serving San Juan County and Orcas Island, and thank you for being a really good friend. In all seriousness, I wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. The dedication, commitment that you all have done for the stuff that we've asked. I mean, social distancing. Ask my wife, I'm not even sure what that means. I struggle with it every day because I like to talk and shake people's hands and be close to all the great people in our community. So that's been a really hard thing for me. She says I'm not really good, and so I'm working on this. We now have to wear masks. Wear your mask when you go outside. Thank you for sanitizing your hands. And thank you for taking care of your neighbors. There's so many really amazing people out there that are being heroes every single day by picking up food and supplies for their neighbors, caring for their neighbors, setting up Zoom chats, trying to find ways to help people in need, and finding out really great ways to make meals so people don't have to cook or make life a little bit easier for each and every one of you. It's a real honor. I'd also like to do a big thank you to all of our first responders, our law enforcement, fire departments, both professional and EMTs on all the islands, our janitorial workers, our people in the grocery stores and the pharmacies and the convenience stores and the hardware stores, people that are showing up every day, putting themselves in harm's way to help each and every one of us. We just have so many great and amazing people. And I encourage you to say thank you to each and every one of them every time you see them. I really like when I see people who are doing jobs that I'm not doing at that point to say, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. It means a lot to me, and thank you very much. I've been asked to answer a few questions that might be of interest to the community, and so we'll take a stab at it, and hopefully I won't bore you too much. So the first question is, what is it like for you to be a county councilor, or what has this been like? Well, it's been interesting. I mean, every day, literally, you wake up and you go, well, that's changed, and not sure I know what this is going to bring. But for me personally, it's also challenging. I've been very fortunate in my life to get to meet really amazing people and to be sort of thrust into challenging positions and to be given the tools to be able to help solve problems. And that's what I think a lot of what we do in our job. I mean, obviously we're doing the kind of boring stuff. We meet and it's really important. We take public comments and we talk about our budget and we try to figure out how we're going to fund things. And we also, at some point we'll have to make hard decisions on if we only have a limited amount of money, what do we spend it on? Do we spend it for community in need? Do we spend it on a road project? So that's kind of the stuff that we're thinking about. We're also trying to figure out and plan for the next 2 years. What is this going to mean to our economy? Fortunately, for the last 7 years, the county has put away about $3 million in what we call a budget stabilization fund. So that's savings. We've worked in a lot of our other funds, the road fund and the land bank fund and lodging tax and mental health, to build up really big reserves. So we have a fair amount of money. That being said, we're pretty much potentially losing a lot of the revenue that we need to function on a daily basis in sales tax. And I encourage everyone who can to pay their property tax. If you can pay the whole year, that would be great. If you can't pay right now, at this point, I also understand. And we just need to do whatever we can to help, keep our local taxing districts and the county funded so we can keep providing the services that I think the community are going to need. As a business owner, I think I mentioned, my wife and I operate Ray's Pharmacy, which is a general store pharmacy in East Sound, and Con's Pit Stop. We're very fortunate that we have two businesses that are essential. And just like with the county, every day we wake up and try to make sure how we can serve our customers and help keep them safe and healthy without endangering our employees. We've done things like put up plexiglass walls at our counters and have purchased masks for our pharmacists and farm tech crew, as well as our front end clerks, so that people can be safe and not get sick and be able to serve the community more. I mean, it's the same thing with the county. We're trying to find creative ways to keep people working within the bounds of the governor's proclamation, and to help provide services and keep people safe. I consider this a challenge, and I'm very, I don't know if you could say excited is the wrong word when you're going through a crisis, but I wake up really energized every day to figure out how the county can help with the tools we have to help make lives, people safe in our community, and then try to get us forward. I mean, it's really like right now, it's like how do we stay safe? How do we keep people safe, and then how do we start as soon as we can finding a way to recover our economy, and hopefully get into a different new economy that's more islander friendly, and that's more respectful for the environment. Second question is, what does the public need to know about what the county council is doing right now, and then how is the county interacting with the state on its response? Well, I mean, we're really here as a resource to the community. So for constituents, my email address is rickh@sanjuanco.com. If you have questions, want to know what's going on, please send me an email. We struggle every day on how do we best to communicate with the public. We try Twitter, and we have our county thing, and I'm trying to do some Facebook posts. Although my son kind of rolls his eyes and says, "You don't know what you're doing," and I'm like, "You're right, I don't know what I'm doing. I used to be in technology and used to think I was a pioneer, and now I don't know how to tag a name in a Facebook post." So all of it's learning, and please be patient with us. We're doing our best to communicate the most information we can that's verified and in a real timely basis. So the council's here to support the community, to support our staff. We're working with ways to find and fund PPE, personal protection equipment. We're working to make sure we have enough money to pay salaries, to keep programs going, to build roads. We're trying to be creative and find ways to take grants from the state or the federal government that will help us fund emergency rental assistance, keep people in their houses, provide basic dignity. We're working on finding ways to fund meals and to help the food bank and other programs that are out there. We're also kind of stepping back and trying to figure out, with what we do today, how will that affect our financial situation in the future. So it's a lot of hands-on, as well as also reflective and thoughtful, and listening to a great staff. We have roughly 40 to 50 people in our emergency operations center, both county employees and volunteers, and working with other organizations, may it be other taxing districts, fire departments, schools, hospital districts, in coordinating and cross-coordinating so that we can provide all the assets and help that they need. Our state partners have been great. All three of our local state officials, Senator Lovelet, Senator Rammel, and Senator Lekanoff, have been amazing partners. They're in constant contact with us and working to provide resources to help our community and all of our citizens as soon as possible. Also, the governor has been a great partner and I think an amazing leader in keeping our state safe. I think the social distancing and spreading out the curve is an amazing tool to keep more and more people safe and our communities healthy. So please continue to do all your great social distancing and wear your masks. And this is great. One of our employees at Ray's, her mother made all of these for all of our staff and for my wife and I. It's really cool. Let's see. I mentioned about that. So what is the biggest challenge so far? Well, the biggest challenge so far is really trying to figure out how to get the most medical equipment, PPE equipment, to the right people who need it. How do we keep our staff who are working 12, 13, 14 hours a day? How do we keep them charged? How do we keep them energized and not burn them out? I mean, they're really doing 2 or 3 jobs. They have their existing job, and then they have their emergency operations center job at the same time. And again, is how do we make sure that there's enough money and resources to keep our community safe, as well as get the economy going? I really ask anyone who's out there who has good ideas on other things that we can help with. My email is rickh@sanjuanco.com. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as humanly possible, but ideas and thoughts are really helpful. We're doing our best to keep the community safe. Is there any positive news you can share with the community? Well, I think, first of all, I think we are, I don't know if you'd say you're beating this, but I think the diligence that we've done in shutting down a lot of the businesses and practicing good social distancing, hand washing. I think we're really spreading out the curve and spreading out people getting sick, which I think is the most important thing. The biggest issue, and sometimes it's hard to understand this, but we really don't want people. We can't get a lot of people sick at the same time because we have a really small amount of resources in the health field, and we don't want to overtax them. So I think that's incredibly positive news. But there's also just a lot of really great things. And for example, the distillers on San Juan and Orcas Island who make great products like whiskey and gin for a living and small craft sizes have stopped doing their production, and they have taken donated beer and hydrogen peroxide, and another great business, Lotion Crafters on Orcas, has provided glycerol, and they're making hand sanitizer, which is a simple thing, but it's great. And there's some really crazy things like 1 keg of beer equals 1 gallon of sanitizer. So that's a really cool thing. There's some really smart people. I like to call them the rocket scientists on Lopez, and I was joking around with them, like, here's a video, what do you think? Can you give us a part list? And they had a model built in 2 or 3 days. It's just great. I can't tell you, there's 2 or 3, 4 different people who called me up or emailed me and said, hey, I want to make masks. What can I do with them? Great. I don't know. Make them. Call the fire department. Call the hospitals. Another friend of mine started messing around with this digital 3D printing, which of course doesn't make any sense to me, but he says it's cool, and started making face shields that will coat down and cover a first responder so they can stay clean if the virus is in an aerosol form. To people out there working, trying to find PPE equipment in non-traditional routes. So there's so many things. The ingenuity of this county, of these islands, is amazing. We are islanders. We're always strong. And we have an opportunity to show the world, the state and the world, how great San Juan County is. And so I just encourage you, keep coming up with cool ideas. Keep helping your neighbor. We'll get through this together. We'll be a better place. And I just thank you all for all the efforts you're doing and all the sacrifices you're making. It's a real honor to serve you. Thank you very much. Be safe. Stay put. Island strong. We're all in this together. Cheers.